Is Kier Starmer gay? Must be. Kier Starmer? Come on. I'd bet on it, wouldn't you? Old Billy Big Bollocks, Kier Starmer, says he's prepared to make some unpopular decisions. But beware of this, it's a sleight of hand. Because we can all live with some unpopular decisions. It would be unpopular not to give 11 billion to Africa if you're a massive greenie. It would be... Can we at least start that as a rumour? Can you print that, Daily Mirror? Can you? Katie Hopkins libels Kier Starmer as banging Phil Schofield. I don't think it actually would be that way round. Would it? Who'd be doing who?
An extraordinary moment unfolded just an hour ago when Katie Hopkins, known for her unfiltered and controversial commentary, confronted Kier Starmer live on air. This wasn't just another political discussion, it was a fiery exchange that shed light on pressing issues like taxes, immigration and Labour's policies. The stakes couldn't have been higher, as Starmer found himself under intense scrutiny, and Hopkins didn't hold back. What happened during this clash? How did Starmer respond, and what does it mean for the future of his leadership?
Must be. Kier Starmer? Come on. I'd bet on it, wouldn't you? He seems gay, he looks gay, he dresses gay. His sort of outlook is gay, staying in Lord Alley's apartment.
Hey, quick favour before we move on. If you find this political content interesting, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Most of you watch without subscribing and it's free, but it helps us out so much. Have you done it yet? Thanks a ton for the support. Now, let's get back to the video.
So, Trump just tweeted to Kier Starmer, hold on. Trump demands Kier Starmer opens up the North Sea and gets rid of windmills. There's things I love about this, right? How to get Kier out. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Kier's not long.
The live broadcast was meant to be a straightforward discussion of Labour's policies, but it quickly turned into a tense confrontation. Kier Starmer, Labour's leader, seemed prepared for a controlled interview, focused on policy explanations, but Katie Hopkins had a different plan. Known for her provocative approach, she came ready to challenge Starmer in a way that left viewers stunned.
Comrades, my name is Kier Starmer, and I'm here to fuck the foundations. When I became your Prime Minister, not only did I get new hair and glasses provided by a donor who now has full access to 10 Downing Street and my bedroom, we were promised three things. Number one, we would be fully costed and fully funded. We're so fully funded and fully costed, we're essentially just like Katie Price or HS2 or the public sector in Argentina pre-Milei, depending on your sense of humour. In order to make the £22 billion hole in the budget even worse, we have spunked a whole bunch of cash at train drivers and junior doctors. This guarantees two things. Number one, they will vote Labour.
Right from the start, Hopkins set the tone by addressing topics that resonate deeply with the British public: taxes, immigration and Labour's governance. The room felt charged as Hopkins posed pointed questions, each one escalating the intensity of the exchange.
I am absolutely with you and the millions of people who think this bloke is a disgrace. He has no plan, he has no conviction, he has no backbone. I don't buy this government at all. It makes me furious with the shambles that was the Tory party.
Hopkins wasted no time in questioning Labour's tax policies. She accused Starmer of punishing hard-working citizens with higher taxes while failing to address concerns about unchecked immigration. He argued that higher taxes on the wealthy were necessary to fund critical public services. On immigration, he highlighted Labour's commitment to creating a fair and managed system. However, his responses lacked the depth Hopkins was pushing for.
And, oh yes, Nigel Farage. The power of these guys together is simply enormous. It will make Nigel Farage unbeatable. He will be Prime Minister of Great Britain by 2027, if not before.
Unimpressed with Starmer's answers, Hopkins doubled down. She painted a stark picture of small business owners overwhelmed by taxes and communities struggling with the impact of immigration. Starmer attempted to steer the conversation back to Labour's broader vision for a fair society, but Hopkins wasn't letting go. Her relentless questioning exposed gaps in Starmer's arguments, leaving many viewers wondering if he truly had a concrete plan.
It's £300. Where are they supposed to rustle that? What would you like them to do? You bastards. Rachel Reeves? What would you like them to do? Would you like them to what? Auction off a kidney, maybe? I mean, what use is a fucking 85-year-old kidney? It's probably knackered. It's had that much piss go through it over a whole lifetime. They can't sell one of them. What do you want them to sell?
Starmer's composure began to waver as Hopkins pressed him for specific numbers and timelines. She demanded clarity on Labour's plans to address illegal immigration and questioned why Labour had yet to propose concrete solutions. Starmer's inability to provide definitive answers made the situation even more challenging for him.
In other news, Kier Starmer continues his plan to kill off the elderly. He has taken away winter fuel allowance. Now, winter fuel payments, which are targeted to the most in need, won't make it in time for winter. And waspy women who were shafted about getting their pensions, he promised them he would give them compensation.
This live confrontation quickly turned into a PR nightmare for Starmer. Critics were quick to label his responses as vague and scripted, questioning his readiness to tackle tough questions on national television.
Hello, have you signed the petition?
Not yet, no, because you know me, I'm not very technical at stuff like that. I was going to start differently, but it's your show, you do what you want.
Well, let me just reassure you that it's actually really easy, because I don't normally do these things either, but I thought this thing is getting ahead of steam, and I think...
The aftermath of this exchange was immediate and explosive. Social media platforms lit up with debates about what had just transpired. Some praised Hopkins for asking the tough questions others shy away from, while others criticised her for being overly aggressive and sensationalist.
You know, wokeism is a parasite and it kills its host. And finally, darlings, don't get too excited because there is more padding in this thing than an 8-part series on Netflix. Just keeping it real here in Batshit Bonkers Britain.
Starmer's supporters argued that he maintained dignity under pressure, but even they couldn't ignore the criticism surrounding his vague responses. This clash has amplified discussions about Labour's policies and Starmer's ability to lead the party effectively. This confrontation has sparked questions about the future of Labour under Starmer's leadership. Can he convince voters that his policies are the solution to Britain's challenges? Or has this exchange exposed cracks in his leadership? Labour's stances on taxes and immigration are now under intense scrutiny, with many wondering if the party is truly in touch with the struggles of ordinary citizens.
Their eyeballs, well, the half of them can't fucking see because they're 95. Where are they supposed to find the money? Well, under a mattress, really? That's what really bugs me, is it's going to cost them more. Okay, where are they supposed to get it? What, are they going to go out and work, are they?
For Hopkins, this moment has solidified her role as a vocal critic of Labour's policies. Her willingness to confront Starmer so publicly could inspire others to follow suit, leading to more high-profile challenges for Labour's leader in the future. Kier Starmer's confrontation with Katie Hopkins highlights a critical issue: leadership accountability. The British public, grappling with rising taxes and contentious immigration policies, expects its leaders to provide clear and decisive answers. This exchange brought into focus the challenges politicians face when confronted with tough, unscripted questions.
I don't know what it is. They won't put it on because they don't want to run into debt. And so they sit and then they literally freeze to death. I mean, God, that breaks my heart. If you're listening and you're really old.
For many viewers, Starmer's inability to provide detailed responses underscored a growing frustration with politicians perceived as out of touch. In today's political climate, where transparency and directness are increasingly valued, moments like these can make or break public perception. Starmer's leadership will likely be judged not only by his policies, but by his ability to effectively communicate them in high-pressure scenarios.
Just how much can this new Prime Minister blame on his Tory predecessors?
I have to be honest with you. Things are worse than we ever imagined.
A man who has not had a summer holiday, now prepping the country for an autumn of painful choices.
This live exchange also underscores the growing influence of media personalities in shaping political discourse. Katie Hopkins, though controversial, effectively used her platform to raise issues that resonate with a significant portion of the public. Her approach demonstrated the power of direct questioning and how it can force political figures to address topics they might otherwise avoid.
The Chancellor said, and I quote, "I'm clear, I'm not coming back with more borrowing or more taxes." I know that telling the truth to this House is important to the Prime Minister. So will he repeat his Chancellor's pledge now?
However, this raises questions about the fine line between journalism and sensationalism. While Hopkins brought critical issues to light, her confrontational style polarized audiences. The media's role in holding leaders accountable is undeniable, but its methods often influence public perception as much as the issues themselves. This interaction is a reminder that in the digital age, media figures wield substantial power in shaping political narratives.
Away from making unpopular decisions now, if it's the right thing for the country in the long term.
No crisis going to waste as Kier Starmer pinned blame for the summer riots on the Tories too.
They exposed the state of our country, revealed a deeply unhealthy society, infected by a spiral of populism which fed off cycles of failure of the last government.
In the days following this confrontation, Starmer's team will likely focus on damage control. Public relations experts will attempt to reframe the narrative, emphasising Labour's commitment to fairness and equality. However, the questions raised during this exchange will continue to linger. The challenges highlighted by Hopkins, particularly around taxation and immigration, are issues that resonate deeply with voters. Starmer will need to address these concerns head-on if he hopes to rebuild public confidence in his leadership.
When the tax burden on the nation was already at a 70-year high. The bulk of this extra tax comes from a £25 billion rise in national insurance, which Labour had promised not to increase. Reeve struggled to deal with this and even admitted that though employers would pay the rise, the cost would eventually be paid for by workers in lower wages and fewer jobs.
Hopkins' approach may be polarising, but her willingness to challenge political leaders has reignited important debates. Whether you agree with her methods or not, there's no denying the impact of her confrontation with Starmer. This moment has brought key issues to the forefront, forcing Labour to re-evaluate its messaging and policies. As this exchange continues to dominate headlines, it's clear that British politics is entering a new phase. The public is demanding greater transparency and accountability from its leaders, and moments like this are shaping the national conversation.
She was forced to concede that despite a vast new public spending spree and a massive increase in borrowing, there would be no sustained rise in economic growth. Indeed, the Office for Budget Responsibility was now projecting a slightly smaller economy by the end of the decade than its projection at the March budget, the Tories' last.
What's next for Kier Starmer and Labour? Will they rise to the challenge, or will this confrontation mark the beginning of a downward spiral for the party? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, the political landscape has been forever changed by this intense showdown.
Made our response to the disorder, and I made it very clear on a number of occasions that those involved will feel the full force of the law. So we coordinated, we went through some of the numbers. Over 400 people now have been arrested, 100 have been charged, some in relation to online activity, and a number of them are already in court. And I'm now expecting...
Stay tuned as we continue to analyse the implications of this dramatic exchange. What are your thoughts on Hopkins' approach? Do you think Starmer has what it takes to lead Britain through its challenges? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications for more updates on this evolving story.